Welcome back, friends. On today's video, we're going to be doing a little maintenance on my chainsaw. So my chainsaw is a 55 Rancher. I've had this chainsaw for at least 20 years. It's been an awesome chainsaw. I can't think of any issues I've ever had with it other than 1 year I had to tear the carburetor apart and clean it out. It had a little bit of sediment in it and it wasn't running right. That's the only repair I've had to do to it other than chains and new bars, stuff like that. But no issues with this chainsaw ever. I love it. It's a great chainsaw for the homeowner. But today we're just going to go over some general maintenance of the chainsaw. Like on the chainsaw right now I have the 24-inch bar on it. It comes standard with an 18-inch bar, but I also have a 20 and a 24-inch bar. So we're going to sharpen the chain. I'm going to show you how I do that. We're going to change the air cleaner, the spark plug, fuel filter also. So for this service, Husqvarna sells a maintenance kit. This one is, the part number for my 55 Rancher is 53130-05-04. But it comes with spark plug, fuel filter, air filter, little jug of mixing oil for your gas for 50 to 1. That's for a gallon of gasoline. But that's what we're going to use there. But we also need Phillips screwdriver. For this chain, takes a 7/32 file. We'll need that. Standard flat file to file down the rakers. I'm just going to show you how I do that. I can't find my depth gauge for this size chain. This is for the chain on the 18-inch bar, but you'll need that. This is what I use to grease the front sprocket, this little grease gun here. With sharpening the chain, there are some awesome videos out there on YouTube for doing that. I am by no means an expert at sharpening a chain. I've done it for quite a while and it's fine for me. I've tried many different ways, the power files, all that, and I found doing it by hand for me is the easiest way and I get the best results. But if you check out his channel is Buckin' Billy Ray Smith. That's all he does is chainsaw stuff, and he's got some awesome videos out there on how to sharpen chains. But check out his channel for more in depth on sharpening the chains. But that is where we're going to start today. This is where we'd run the file. You can see that line right there. That's kind of the angle gauge you follow, so you're not over this way or too far this way. That's kind of your angle to follow there. All I do is I kind of get on an angle of that line there that I showed you, and when I'm filing, you can hear it when I go and you come back, you can hear that. I'm not filing both ways. Instead of going this way and then coming out and going back, I'm just bringing the file back a little bit and it's kind of dragging there. That's what you hear. I'm not filing both ways. And so every time that I finish filing, I tap the file. It gets the filings out of there. And there's also a brush for a file that you can clean them out. But it's just as easy to tap it out. And then we'll go to the next one. And I like this chain's a little tight for cutting, but I like the chain tight when I'm filing, because if it's really loose, the chain will flop around and you're not getting a decent file on it. And you also want to keep your file level here. You'll see if you're off, it'll catch. You probably saw it a couple times, but you also see that you'll have file marks on the links down here, not on the actual tooth. So you can see that line right there. File's just on the same angle. And then we flip the chainsaw around and do the other side. And after you hit a stone or something, or a lot of dirt, and you're really dull, it could take 2 or 3 sharpenings to get it back to where it cuts the best. I don't know if you can see this or not. So you can see how that one's shiny. This one's all dull and dirty. That's how, and my next one is shiny. So I know that's where I started. This is my last tooth on this side. That one actually came out perfectly. I don't know if you can see it here, but that's what you want to see. A lot of these didn't do that because they're going to need a few filings after hitting that concrete. But there's, I feel there's like just a burr that's from filing that's on the top. That's what I like to see, is that when that burr's up there, you know that's good enough. If you file too much, you'll get a big like ski jump in there, which you're not going to cut good. But it's going to take a few filings to get it back to where it should be after hitting stone and concrete. But that's all there is to filing. Not hard. Obviously, the bigger the bar, the longer it takes you. There's more teeth. Yeah, so a lot of times you see people with their bars flipped upside down. So about every 2 to 3 filings, you should turn your bar over so it wears evenly. When you take this bar off and you flip it, there you should have like my other depth gauge that I use to file these down is really thin, and it also works that way, or you can use a little flathead screwdriver, but this will have all kinds of oil and sawdust in it. You should scrape all that out, get that cleaned out of there before you put the chain back on. The other thing that I do for right here is a little grease port this goes into. And don't hold the tip because you'll get grease all over your hands. But I give it a few pumps. And then you can see it coming out there. And that greases that sprocket there. Every time I fill my tank with gas and oil, I'll grease the sprocket on the front there. Okay, so next we're gonna take the top cover off, and there's just 3 Phillips head screws. And that comes off. And then we have our air filter spark plug. And for the air filter, it's Phillips head screw right there. And that comes off. And this one actually looks very clean. I'm not going to waste it, but yeah, you would take it off, and the new one out of the pack. I mean, if you see that, they look almost the same. I don't burn firewood like I used to, so this wasn't last year. I think was only run once. No, I'm sorry, twice. Helped a friend with some blowdowns, and then I was cutting some roots that I had uncovered. That's when I hit the stone. I thought I had everything out of the way, but I didn't. So this does not need replaced. But you'll see, you run it for a season, it'll be just all covered with sawdust. And then the spark plug most likely will not need changed either, but we're just going to go through it for you. And your saws come with the tool for the spark plug. Just make sure that if there's not a lot of debris there, because you don't want that down in your cylinder. And yeah, that's really clean. I'm not going to waste another spark plug on that, but again, comes with the one you need. And we're not going to waste it. Make sure you don't get cross-threaded there. Snug. And that's it for up there. Now, I am going to do a video here in the near future of, I'm going to tear this completely down and really clean it out, which I like to do the end of the season, get all that out of there. Which we'll tear this off and I'll show you what I mean. So it's no big deal, but my oil pump for the chain leaks, which you can see right down there on the floor. That's been in that vise for a day. And right here we got oil dripping out of the, which that's absolutely no big deal. The saw will run fine like that. You just obviously need to make sure before you start running it that you're full of oil, because you don't want to burn that stuff up. So again, the wrench that comes with your saw will do just about anything you need to do out in the woods. So like all of that, do a good cleaning, get that all out of there, all down in behind the carburetor, take the pull cord off and get that all cleaned out. Yeah, so let's just take this bar off. And so there is it's right down in here, there's the chain tensioner, but you can pull this back and slide the bar back and get the chain off. And this is what I was talking about. Yeah, so you want to clean all of that out when you flip your bar. I mean, after you run it first. Oh, there we go. See what I mean? You want to clean all that out. So definitely every 2 or 3 times you need to sharpen your chain, flip your bar. You also want to make sure that these little holes here are cleaned out. That's where it oils it. Now in greasing the sprocket up front here, there's one hole I showed you, but there's just one on there. Like the oiler, it's on both sides. So your normal chainsaw tool will get in here. This screw here is to tighten your chain. It's just easier with a longer one. So we are going to, and the oiler I was talking about that I'm going to do a video on is it's back behind this. Yeah, but we're gonna take all this off and we're gonna replace that oiler. It leaks, like I say, it's no big deal. The worst thing is, like, if I have it in my garage and not out in the shed, then I got oil all over the concrete if I don't think to put a rag under it. But saw runs just fine, oil's just fine. It's not an expensive part, so I'm just going to change it. Biggest thing is, like I say, before you start running it, you just need to make sure you have oil in it. Here's the chain tensioner. And that screw, I'm just going to move it back so the chain will be loose and easier to put on. We'll get our bar in there. Okay, we get our bar in there. We'll see if we loosened it enough. Just start your chain in it. We'll loosen it a little more. There we go. Chain on the sprocket. Now we can tighten it a little bit. all tighter. I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna get this back on here. I'm not gonna clean that out because I'm not using it anytime soon, but I'm gonna do another video on cleaning that all out. Okay, so to tighten the chain, we don't want to tighten these yet. They're just on their hand tight. And what I like to do is, so there's the bar moves up and down. I like to hold up on the bar. And I get my screwdriver and that screw, and I just get up till it's a little too tight, but that may loosen up here in a second. And then I will, while I'm still holding pressure up on the bar, something like that. I always like to run the chain because then see how it was tight before. Now it's really loose. So now it's in that track. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen this back up. So the chain or the bar fell down. And then we're going to hold up on the bar. And then we're just gonna, so I watch right here. And I just slowly tighten until that chain like touches up there. And then we're gonna tighten this back up and we'll check it. Like I said before, you don't want them really tight. You want to be able to have some play in it because it'll wear out faster. But I like how tight that is. Not too tight, not too loose. And after you flip your bar, have to take that off to replace your chain or something like that. After you'll start it up and run it for a little. I just rev it up 10 times, whatever. Cut a few pieces of wood, whatever, and then shut it off and check this, because a lot of times it loosens up a lot more than you would want it to. Fuel filter out of there. So I just go down and get that hose, get the filter. Get that out. I'm gonna put some small vice grips on this so I don't lose the hose. And I'm just gonna loosen that up. And she should come right off there. There's the new filter. So we're just going to slide it on there. Take this off. Shove her back in. And put that back in. And that's changing the fuel filter. Put her back in the vise here. Okay, so now we're going to put the cover back on. That was maintenance on a chainsaw on my Husqvarna 55 Rancher, 20 plus years old. So we sharpened the chain, we greased the front sprocket, air filter, spark plug. They were both good, so I did not replace them, but I showed you how you would. and we replaced that fuel filter. But yeah, that was our video today. Tell me what you think. Anything I should do different? Anything you liked, you didn't like? Like I say, I am no expert on sharpening a chain, but it works for me. And check out Buckin' Billy Ray Smith. I think he's out of British Columbia. He's got some awesome videos on sharpening chains. Like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Anything I should do different? Anything you liked, you didn't like? Let me know. But thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.